Really excited, playing really good basketball, and really looking forward to a challenge that has never been accomplished. So we're excited about it. I guess as excited as you can be getting ready to do what we're about to do.
McDowell's had obviously some big games for you this year. How important is it for him to kind of play well in this tournament for you?
Well, it's really important. You got to be able to score the ball, and they're very difficult. You know, I don't see a whole lot of people scoring that ball inside against them. And we've played a really good schedule, and we were able to play with Memphis. You know, I think our best player, and you just saw him, I think our best player is Kevin Goffney, even though he doesn't get all the stats and all the pub and all the all-conference stuff. But Goffney gets hurt. He doesn't play against Memphis. He didn't play in 8 games early. And we played with Memphis because we could defend and we rebounded, and McDowell made a boatload of threes. So that's kind of our formula, to tell you the truth. If we're going to do something pretty neat, that's what we'd have to do.
Right here up front.
Gangelson, the Associated Press. How do you get your team, I guess, believing that it can beat UConn, or do you have any sort of inspirational, pep talk stored up for tomorrow or anything?
I'm a dreamer. Now, I was a JV basketball coach 24 years ago. You know, no one thought I could be a Division I head basketball coach, and so I'm a dreamer. And we've got 2 words up in our locker room: dream and believe. And I just told them, if you can't dream it and you can't believe it, don't show up tomorrow. Don't go. Fake an injury, got a hamstring pull, your back hurt, something. And so last time I checked, the score would be 0-0. If they make the first shot, they're not going to be up 20-0. They may be up 2-0 or 3. But you got to believe. If you don't believe, why play the game? You know, this is not football. Football, the strongest blocks to the right, and you block to the left. You give him the ball, he runs through the hole. Very few upsets in football. This, you screen, and you're still going to have to make a shot from 20 in a tight situation. And I've said many times, regular season, 2 balls fit through that hoop. In the postseason, those little orange Nerf balls have a tough time going in sometimes. Not for the 16 seed, but for the 1 seed. So we're going to have to rely on a little bit of that too.
Mike Anthony, Harvard Current. Coach, I guess along the same lines, being the team that no one expects to win, do you sense that your kids are looser for that? Are they relishing the situation they're in? Are they having more fun with it, or is it even more pressure?
It's not more pressure, but I don't want loosey-goosey. I don't want up here just fooling around, having fun, just enjoying the moment. We can enjoy the moment in 2 weeks. We'll all look back and enjoy the moment. This is not time to enjoy the moment. I want to be loose, but I want to be competitive. And we're going to, we've played Tennessee, we've played Missouri, we've played Southern Cal, we've played Alabama, we've played Memphis. Davidson out of our league. We got a pretty good league. Our league representation last year was a shot away from the Final Four. All of a sudden we're a 16 seed, everybody kind of looking at us funny. But our league's pretty good, and we play pretty good people. We got to get used to the surroundings in here, but I certainly hope that we're not absolutely intimidated of the surroundings and the situation tomorrow.
Mike Sealski, Yahoo Sports. John, a 2-part question. The last time UConn was here in 06, Albany was tied with them as a 16 seed with about 8 minutes to go. Have you brought that up to your kids at all? And if so, are you using it? And 2, are you surprised that at this point in the tournament's history that a 16 has never beaten a 1?
Well, yes, I'm using that Albany. We talked about 2:30 in the morning. Our coaches did last night, and I said we got to get that tape quickly. But I am a little surprised. I think it's getting closer. I was sitting in my office last week, and one of my assistants came flying down. He said, "I'm listening to Colin Cowherd's show, and Jim Calhoun just said something nice about Chattanooga." And said, "Gosh almighty, I just watched Chattanooga play, and they're pretty good, and they may be a 16 seed." And I think things are changing a little bit. I know that East Tennessee State's getting ready to play Pitt. East Tennessee's very, very good. And I know that we're much better than our 18-16 record, I'm just going to tell you, it's going to happen sometime. So, might as well happen tomorrow, I guess. Since we're all here, we might as well let it happen tomorrow. But it's going to happen sometime. And you got to believe, and you got to dream, and you got to play pretty close to perfect.
Coach, could you just talk for a second about Kieran and the impact he's had on the program in his short time here?
Well, Kieran's a winner, and Kieran's always been a winner, and he won a national championship in junior college, and then they were ranked number 1 almost the entire year, his sophomore year. He comes to us, and he actually had a very freak injury, had a dislocated collarbone, and it was like a car wreck injury that happened in a basketball game. And so last year, he tried to play, but he couldn't use his left arm, which is tough to play. But he really helped us win a regular season championship last year. He came in and struggled early, as we all did, with our schedule, and he's just coming to his own now. I mean, he really, if you quizzed our kids, and hopefully I wasn't out here when our kids were talking, they truly believe. I mean, they truly believe that we can do something tomorrow. And if they don't, and if I'm not preparing them to do that, then I've done a poor job as a coach. So I'm just going to tell you, we believe that we can do it. And I know that you've had many people stand up here and say that. And that's okay, too, because I like those people. If you don't believe by this time, we shouldn't be here. If we're up here just to have fun, I'm in the wrong profession.
Coach, Chris Ellsbury, Connecticut Post. When your players were up here, they said in the beginning of the season they didn't quite believe. They were still getting used to all that. What did you do, or how did it all change so that they did come to this belief down the stretch?
Well, we quit playing Tennessee, Memphis, Missouri, and Southern Cal. Number one, we quit playing all those people. We got Goffney back, and Goffney's kind of our glue. Goffney and Kieran are kind of our guys. And they don't get the pub that the rest of those guys get, but they get the W's, to tell you the truth. And we got Goffney back, and Goffney missed 8 games, and he's the guy. In our league, he's a tough matchup. All of a sudden, we don't have 6'9" 3-men like Robinson. We got 6'5" 3-men like Goffney, and he's a tough matchup in our league. But those guys, we got Goffney back. Goffney was actually we were thinking about redshirting him. And he came back after Christmas, and all of a sudden he said, Coach, I want to do it. I want to finish out with these seniors. But we also did start out 0-3 in the league, and then we got back right defensively, and we won 5 in a row, and then we lost a couple, and then we won 6 out of 7, and secured a bid, secured our bye, and secured our first place in the North, and opposite of Davidson, and then we lost 3 in a row, but they didn't kill us. Our guys always kind of had that belief late, but also, like I said, not playing, all BCS schools is not a lot of fun.
I'm Michael Bradley from the Sporting News. John, when we mentioned to Stefan that he had the green light to shoot whenever he wanted, he got a big smile on his face. A, does he have that freedom? And B, are there times where you kind of cringe?
I cringe a lot. My personality, I'm stressed about everything. But we got Steph for a reason. Steph, actually, his junior year, he shot 19 threes in a game against East Tennessee State. And he had shot 35 for his career at South Carolina in 1 year. And he almost, shot 19 in a game. But he struggled shooting it that night. And he passed one up, and I took him out. I said, listen, you're not out there for your looks. You're not out there for your ball handling. You're not out there for your D. Shoot the ball. And that's what he does. And he's got to make some shots for us. And we have struggled when he hasn't been. He's not a huge guy either. He says he's 6 foot, and he's maybe 6 foot. That's about it. But he can really, really shoot that basketball. He's not Steph Curry. I'm not trying to say that. He's Steph McDowell, and that's good enough for us.
Kelly Whiteside from USA Today. John, just wondering your impressions of Hasheem Thabeet and his shot blocking abilities.
I was so depressed. I was asking the pilots to turn the plane back around yesterday. I watched the Seton Hall game just because we played in a tournament at Seton Hall down in Puerto Rico, and it was a joke. I mean, he had 9 blocks, and he altered like 13 other shots, and he dominated the game. He dominates the game on the defensive end, and we're not used to that. I got an unbelievable play sheet here on everything we can run. Like half of it I got to throw out because it doesn't work against a 7'3" guy standing about 2 inches from the bucket. But we can't, we got to be smart. We can't back down, but we got to be smart. We're not going to sit there and challenge him all night long at the basket. A lot of people tried that. And if it don't work for some of the Big East people, trust me, it don't work for Chattanooga. And so we got to make sure that he kind of goes this way, away from the basket, make him defend a little bit away from the basket. But he's phenomenal. He's great. plays with a grin on, smile. You know, he smiles all the time. I don't like that. You know, he looks like he's having a little bit too much fun blocking everybody's shot. I don't like that part.